Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have a very fun one today. I was playing against a captain draft, and this is not ranked. This was, explicitly ranked practice, so I'd asked draft for some advice, and he said, well, let's just play a game. We'll talk about what went well, what went poorly later on, and so I'm playing as Baltic. No motorized, no mechanized, nothing like that, just Baltic. And the opener is going to be a little bit brutal here. So I'm headed up towards center to Fetter. I've got some Iroquois Yeokery back here with some KTs. Also some more Iroquois Yeokery and, specialist infantry and musties. Then on the right-hand side, I have some cheap infantry and BTRs, cheap infantry and BMP-1s, and an ITO 90. The idea was to hold farther back in Gregory, not expecting that I could push up too far there successfully, and then have a good hold in the center, in Fetter, rather, not center, in Fetter, and then move over through the woods there on the side. And you can see a couple things right off the bat. AH-64 Escort is attacking my Ito and very much might kill him. This really surprised me. I got one shot off, got a hit, but the Ito does go down, so I really wish I had some KT there unloaded in one of the towns. Leopard Verkenning is spotted, and yeah, I lost the other Ito 90 to a Tiger, so losing two big, hugely expensive pieces like that off the bat is abysmal. I lost 180 points to two helicopters of all things that they were supposed to kill, and now we have some attempted revenge for that, but I lose Iroquois Yeokery in the open, and we do get revenge on the Pion, was it a Pion? Oh, my apologies. From the, against the Leopard Verkenning, rather, of the Dutch player there, so drafts Leopard Verkenning, but this is already looking pretty bad, so 220 points-ish of losses on my side, and only about 65 or so points of kills. Yeokery and Panzer Yeokery, along with more Yeokery in the side here, are going to be going up against YP-408 PWIs. These guys are motorized, but two frontal armors, pretty nice for the point cost. It's not French, but it's also on wheels, so I mean, hey, it's fine. Corps Mariners, however, are going to cut through my Yeokery like a buzzsaw, and I've actually turned off the law in order to better target my PWs, which means they're not firing their tertiary at the Corps Mariner, so that was another problem. Musty moving up through the woods here, taken out by something, and I actually have no idea what that was. Let's take a look. That's the snebs off the Tiger. Very well. Yeah, okay, fair enough. And looking at the overall battlefield, I mean, there's a hold in Boris, which is expected. It's pretty light. Probably could have tried pushing it, and that would have been okay, but on Gregory, we're in a bit more trouble. So a Hawk 51 bomber coming in, trying to hit the Corps Mariner, but they are split and moving in different directions, so I targeted center of mass, and I hit a whole lot of absolutely nothing. But we are holding kind of well against Stuttruppen here, so Panzer Yeokery in the back using that tertiary, and Yeokery are pretty good in the front, also BMP-1, surprisingly good work off the Grum, so never underestimate those guys too much. They can be kind of capable sometimes. Another Hawk Bomber coming in. I'm trying to hit the Stuttruppen. I expected them to move a bit more forward, and we just barely miss. Again, heartbreaking to see that sort of inaccuracy. Leopard 2A1, however, is taking, not taking any fire. I wish he was. Sorry, switching to draft's perspective. And you can see I've been blown through in Gregory. I lost my AA in Fetter. I haven't been able to push up toward Boris. And this is just, I don't know, it's not great. So I have cap center. I am taking out a +2. I regret this. This 125 points should have been reinforcements toward Gregory this early. Yeah, it was kind of rough. But BTR-50s and a BMP actually able to kill some Corps Mariners, so I was happy about that. Two frontal armor, and then the crossfire off the Grom was pretty nice, but Corps Mariner on that side with a lovely AT-4 are going to be, making it hurt quite a bit. And before you guys decide, okay, well, he's lost this fight, let's just, see how he does tomorrow or something like that, do stick around. There are some surprises in here that they won't let you down. Well, at least I hope not. So, Leopard 2A1s moving forward, there are a pair of them now, 100-point tanks, and two of them put together was a very tempting target for ATGM planes, but I have no scouting over here left. I mean, the Alouettes are too far away. Hawk Bombers just blind bombing at this point, which is never what you want to do, but it actually worked out better than my initial, so I figured he would probably cap the town, and I wanted that infantry to die in a fire. So we do bomb both of those. Stuttruppen nearly dead, Corps Mariner down to 4. I only wish I'd spread out the bombs a bit more, but we did also ping that we saw some Flak Panzer Gepards here. I did have a seaplane in this deck, but I think actually if we take a look, sorry for switching back and forth so many times, that gun is already turned off. So my opponent's micro on his AA, radar AA, is phenomenal. T-55 Pion was pushing up this way. We did get another couple kills there, so at least we are holding in Fetter at the moment, but it's a very, very fragile sort of thing. So the Pion not that tough of a tank. Yekuri, of course, are just, I mean, line infantry, regular training. They're pretty good for the point cost, but that's for the point cost, right? And unfortunately, the extra AP for 10 points doesn't help them against other infantry. So I am bringing up a bunch of infantry here, trying to retake this town, because if my opponent can make his way through here, get through into this wooded section, yeah, I have no real recourse for that, because my Wilk is going to have to turn around and shoot if we get attacked through Fetter there. It's a whole lot of bad. You can see my Yekuri already kind of coming back this way, because I was expecting my opponent to keep pushing through on the road here. I think the only reason he didn't is probably the Hawk Bombers, so you're going to speed up just a little bit as there is some posturing and bringing out a couple other reinforcements. I don't want to push in just the Raniko, because Raniko and Eriko are very expensive, and I don't trust my ability to keep these guys alive on their own. So, yeah, more Hawk Bombers coming in. This run wasn't quite as good as the other one. We're going to see what the effect is. So 4 Corps Mariner, 1 Stu Troopin, and a Parmelan. And, yeah, a little bit dropped short. It's kind of bad there, but the Seaplane also didn't get anything, and now there's a Hawk Heos back there, which is going to make things go from bad to worse. But, well, so this strategy is something I learned playing against another one of my buddies where, I don't know, it seems like people expect you just to bum rush this town on the side, trying to get infantry in there, and I've had way more success getting infantry over on the sides and trying to push through that way. So we do have the Raniko and Eriko over there. We have Yekuri moving into the woods from the side here. BTR 50 is leading the way. Bit of a mistake. Should always have your vehicles behind your cheap infantry, that way they don't get targeted first and taken out. But, you know, live and learn and all that. So, in the meantime, there is some infantry spotted over there, but not much. I did see that my Pion was spotted. I didn't want to lose this guy. 75 points at this stage would be a pretty bitter pill to swallow, so he's moving back. The Spike team's trying to move back as well. My enemy's recon in that woods section is just it's something I really wasn't equipped to deal with at the time. So, Eriko and Reniko outrunning my Yekuri. Unfortunately, I wanted these guys up there with them, but no dice. And I have more infantry in the back, just now starting to move up. Probably should have done it before, but did what I could. PH2 Tiger is headed over to prey on this poor little Alouette here, and of course he will get the kill there very easily, but my Iroquois spot an opportunity. So these guys have Igwas, they're pretty good at shooting through the woods. I figured this guy would probably hang around, particularly if he saw my W3W Sokol back here. Maybe thinking that I go up a little bit too far too quick, so I'm trying to move these guys over and into the deep woods on that side to get something nice done there. AMX Pre's running through the gap, and these guys are, I think, borrowed French equipment. That's why they have that AMX prefix, and they do have, of course, 3 frontal armor, which is very nice. Actually, didn't realize that the Dutch had access to that, but yeah, maybe I'll reconsider building a Dutch deck, because, wow, yeah, I don't know. Don't know if they're competitive, but, I mean, I'm not competitive, so, well, I'm very competitive personally, but I'm not competitive at this game yet, so still learning there. It looks like it could be fun, and it certainly did some nice work against me, that much I do have to say. But Yekuri and Raniko are able to fend that off, and surprisingly long-lived Yekuri in the town, so my BTR 50 is not quite engaging, but yeah, I don't know, this was okay. We pushed him back, even if it's just a couple points right there, and yeah, pretty tame game at this point. It doesn't stay that way, I promise you, but Eriko is moving all the way up. I figured if we could take out the Tiger that I think might still be back there, or if we could just get a nice position near the end of the woods toward the lake, then next time he comes over we might be able to get something done. But H-64 Escorts, unfortunately taking out my BTRs, was targeting the Yekuri as well, but not quite able to get them, and those Hydra rocket pods, not the best, but I mean, my only AA over here is a single unit of Iroquois who will be opening up one shot, and second shots? No. So we actually lost line of sight, and because of that my Wilk's getting targeted. Stu Troopin here are getting shot at as well, and finally the Hawk Bombers do some good work. So 14 Corps Mariners down to 11, and my Reniko Yekuri, who were definitely losing that fight, now might just be able to hold off if they're lucky. I don't know, probably not, but at least the Corps Mariners were stunned, they were split up, and that is better than nothing. Worst case, I might be able to get them with the Yekuri and BTRs on that side. So these guys, of course, 35 points each, so it was very upsetting to have them lose that. But we have another Hawk bombing run coming in, and down go the Corps Mariners. So my Reniko are saved, and I think that group was entirely... No, so there's 2 left. That's a little upsetting, but I don't know. It is what it is. My Iroquois have been spotted. Of course, they did actually get some good work done. I think they took out the Tiger. Yeah, they did. Sorry we didn't see that. I was focusing too much on the backside there, but yeah, well, we'll see more of it going forward. And what was amazing about this game is playing against the captain here, Draft himself, I never felt like So some games are the sort of thing where you're always just clicking everything all the time. That's not what this felt like. This legitimately felt like I was just being outthought, right? So my response to things was anticipated, my opener was clearly anticipated and played around. And it happened so quickly that micro wouldn't have saved me. It was just, I didn't have the right tools for the job in the right places, and that definitely hurt. So, H64 escort moving forward, and yeah, this is going to be, well, actually, did I even kill? I don't see him, so I'm assuming that helicopter is gone, but seeing the H64 escort actually move the Iroquois forward again, bit of a mistake, they are going to get trapped. But I figured this one group is 35 points, the H64J escort is more expensive. Hawk Hioses, however, back there, non-radar AA, are shooting at my own Hawk 51 bombers, and that was pretty brutal, but we did get some nice fire support on the Stuttruppen, and between the two units of Yekuri here, we should be able to grind them down pretty effectively. H64 escort now spotted, and let's watch the Iroquois Yekuri do their thing. So, a little bit hard to get line of sight through that thick forest. There it is, opening up with the main guns. Igla aiming down to 3 strength and 2 strength. Oh, come on, get off the Igla. Yes, there it is, and that last missile, down we go. So even if I lose the Iroquois, that unit actually did pay for himself finally, so I had something that was cost effective. Also taking down a transport, maybe even 2. So let's see, another unit of YPR 765, 15-point autocannon, and yeah, not quite able to take it down. So, a little unfortunate how that turned out, but, well, you do what you can. And my Yekuri at this point with more BTRs were headed up to try to help, but seeing the Iroquois get completely killed, I do turn those guys around. So, not trying to go in for some cost fallacy, not trying to throw good points after bad, and bad points are, of course, the ones that are already killed. So, yeah, didn't want any part of that. Sokol did get good use of the rocket pods, and he is going to be moving back and trying to resupply himself, so maybe he'll be useful later on, who knows. But my Yekuri here, surprisingly ineffective against those Dutch transports. The YPR's autocannons were absolutely vicious, and we do get 1 kill there, but it's not going to be enough to make that expedition worthwhile unless we can get something else. Grenadiers on either side is going to be a little bit claustrophobic, and Yekuri sparring with Corps Mariner. So ordinarily this would be a horrible fight, but I actually have 2 tanks supporting. Moving back the M1 MOD, so Draft and I were in voice chat together, and as soon as he saw this guy open up, he goes, "Oh, it's a mod! Oh, it's a mod!" And I knew then that 1, he had seen it, 2, he wanted to kill it, and unfortunately, there goes another Hawk 51. So I lost a fair number of bombers trying to get those guys killed, but, I mean, enemy Corps Mariners, I didn't even get the kill there, which is just what makes it insult to injury, but I wanted those guys dead, and I wanted them dead yesterday. So we do have a Telecoder 84, that is going to be the mortar team there, smoking up the position in front of the T-72, trying to keep him alive, trying to stay out of reach of any sort of ATGM attack or guided sort of attack there. In the meantime, I mean, so much stuff has died over in Gregory, it was really kind of impressive. I brought out resupply vehicles that never really did anything because the units that were supposed to help no longer existed. So Raniko, Yekuri, and more Yekuri, along with XA-180s holding this flank. Very fragile hold here, but if we look at neutral, this is interesting. So, Corps Mariners here, and yes, we'll talk about the YPR later on, but Grenadiers, Stuttruppen, Geppards, Leopard 2A1, very much in my opponent's favor on that side. Feder was a bit more of a mixed bag. I mean, Leopard Verkenning, Corps Mariner, I actually have more points here than my opponent does by a significant margin, and they're not helping me where the fight is currently ongoing. So, bit of a mistake bringing up the additional Ito. I mean, I thought I had the room for it, but it's a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. This guy, putting that 85 points there instead of 85 points more in infantry is going to cost me. And you can see I do lose the resupply vehicles, and yeah, that was not exactly great. And here's the moment where I should have been questioning things, because those Corps Mariners, well, no, so they're moving up. So Reneko Yekuri soon to be engaging. Other Yekuri force moved away from the PWIs and trying to engage the Corps Mariner. Let's see how that goes. And my other Yekuri trying to get up to the town. 16 men left, and we do... Oh, do we? Oh, come on, don't get stuck. Yeah, actually, they get in, and that ATGM team is going to be taken out, I believe. No, well, down to 1 man. See if we can do it, and we are chasing. Yep, there it goes. So a couple of nice kills there. That was pretty good. Yekuri, however, are going to just die against that many Corps Mariners. They are panicked, yeah, but actually stun coming in as I do get mortar support online. So one of the nice ways to fend off expensive infantry is with mortars. But the Sokol does get too close to the enemy AA, and unfortunately they are gone. However, Telek 91 also adding in, and that was absolutely brutal. So you can see down from 15 men to 7 to 6 to, I think, even just gone. So not 1 man left. See what the next volley can do, and yeah, gone. So that artillery support, this is something I often overlook. I'll do infantry to infantry fighting in the woods, and I won't really think about it too much, but that little bit of support saved this position, even just for the moment, and allowing my BMPs to get up there. But YPR back here from draft, and I do lose my mortar, unfortunately, and my other BMPs are even taking fire, so, I mean, hey, the autocannon on that thing is no joke, and this is when I realized Panzerjäger are unloaded, and trying to move over to deal with those guys, but it was an unpleasant surprise to say the least. Jäger dueling it out with Grenadiers, and yeah, they'll probably make it through. I kind of get the impression that my opponent was not exactly playing all that hard, just from the voice chat and from some other indicators as well, like the fact that I was still alive. But I mean, I don't think he was. It was interesting. This is definitely an attempt to push through here. So Leopard 2A1's taking out my BMPs, but Panzerjäger on the side are going to have an unpleasant surprise for those tanks as they go through. Those Apolos missiles coming in and doing yeoman's work here. That's 1 tank dead, 2 tanks dead, and we can see the transports and the Flak Panzer Gepards. Ooh, wait, no, we already took out the transports. These are the tanks. I almost wish it was the other way around. I really wanted those Leopards dead, but we do get the AA there, I think. No, hiding in the town. Ah, jeez, I didn't even know what's going on in the replay. But MiG-13S does get a nice kill, and we did force him to slow down, if only for a little bit. So Leopard 2A1's, one of them nearly dead. I really wanted that kill pretty badly. Not quite able to get it. And my MiG-29 should have been retreated. There it is, evac ordered. And Syria's coming in, evac ordered because they weren't opening up. So actually, I think I might have lost vision. So Leopard 2A1's did avoid death by Syria. But I also was able to get out because my opponent's AA was out of ammunition. Okay, so T-72 M1 mod, trying to hide from the Peace Rhine, and it looks like vision was lost there at the very end because this guy is just circling, not able to get the kill, and that was a very close save. So, I mean, I've lost Gregory, Boris has been uncontested, Feder is held by a single Wilk in a really bad position, unsupported at all. So I was not feeling great about that, but Ito 90 does get 1 shot off, shot and a hit and a kill on the Peace Rhine. Very nice thing there for the Red 4 team in what's otherwise a losing fight. KCT and Jäger, and this guy was both chuckling, honestly. I called in a Hawk, close fire support, 7 Jäger, 4 KCT, 3 KCT, probably not necessary, but down to 5 Jäger for the last 3 KCT, and I view that as, I'll take that. I'll take that any day. So my Jäger just able to live, the bombers taking out those expensive infantry, but this was pretty. This is what I mean. So, all of these YPRs, all of these Corps Mariners, this is very expensive. So, Corps Mariners are 35 points, a YPR is another 15, which makes each one of these 50 points. So, that's a 200-point block, 400 points, 500 points that were just sandbagged and all spent all at once. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that a captain can know not to stick 500 points minimum just ticking up. So, I think that was a bit of a, well, testing my own defenses, testing my responses to give some feedback, and for that I am very grateful. Draft and I had a good game, and I'm sure that he'll be around to kick my ass later on too, so my thanks for that. But I don't know, because here's the thing, the games where you lose right off the bat, I find it very difficult to learn from. It's possible, I mean, you know very quickly, don't do that again, but that's about all you can really manage. Hawk Bombers coming in, and the action's picking back up as Panzerjäger are sparring here. I didn't really like that. I wanted to keep those Apolos missiles online for the Leopards, but no joy in that regard. Syria does come in, and that looks like at least 1 kill, maybe even 2. Yeah, both tanks dead off a single Syria, so 1 missile each, 1 kill each, and that Syria deserves one hell of a promotion. Actually, if you take a look, I didn't realize this at the time, but there's Grenadiers and a Flak Panzer Gepard on this side, and that's it. What I should have done is I should have taken these guys and I should have just moved them right down, taken 4 positions, and tried to respond, but I was dealing with this at the time, so I knew there was more than just these YPRs and Grenadiers. I was trying to do some sort of response, get my Copa out of the way. T-72M1 Wilkes called in, Panzerjäger and XA-180s with more infantry moving up, trying to stem the tide as it's just overwhelming amounts of infantry going through here. And I thought, if I can't stop this, this is just game over. That's what it is. So these guys are holding when they should be pushing into only a Flak Panzer Gepard. They should be moving right now. but all I could think to myself was, gotta stay alive, gotta stay alive, gotta stay alive. Bit unfortunate, could have capitalized on that, definitely a missed opportunity there. But YPR is shooting at my Alouettes, and now we do have unloaded Renoko Yekiri in XA-180s. Maybe a bit expensive for this, and they're not going to be great at range. I kind of wished that I had the Raskazin Korima, the recoilless rifle infantry, to zone out those YPRs, and that's usually why I take them, but I'm trying a couple different things, different newer things. Now we finally do have some movement on the right-hand side, so I'm getting the Yakiris forward, I'm getting the KTs forward, most importantly, but they are injured, they are a little bit worried, and having to move these guys across open ground when I realized I no longer had a mortar was kind of sucky, but I wanted those Epilos missiles online. Unfortunately stunned, not quite in range there, and this unit should never have died. That was 70 points thrown forward and just thrown away. The other Panzer Yekiri, however, might be able to make it into the woods, and if they get there, they might be able to do something good, but I probably should have just formed a defensive line here. So only 14 men survived to that. The Hawk Bomber was not that impactful. Seaplane also not that impactful, getting hit by a Hawk Hios on the way out. And my ASF trying to fend off this other F-104G, but he's evac bingo, so I just retreated. And yeah, this is not great. So this is what I'm talking about, though. If I had the Panzer Yekiri here, the YPRs would advance into it, into Apolos missiles, kind of like they are now, right? So that's a quad stack. Jeez. 6 autocannons, including, and there's infantry support behind it as well. The Wilks will do pretty well here, but they're not dedicated infantry killers, and so it's kind of the wrong role. So every shot's only going to do about 2 to 3 damage, depending on if they're in woods or if they're in open ground. But the Panzer Yekiri could have done a lot better job. He's one group of 4 cleared out. Peace Run coming in, swing and a miss on the Wilks, which is pretty nice. And my own MiG is chasing, so quick response I can manage there. Only one, well, no hits actually. So 2 shots, no hits. A little bit depressing. But the Wilks are holding strong and pushing those guys back. Meanwhile, Elkros Yekiri are going to die to just numbers off the Grenadiers, and also very nice fire support from more escorts. I saw more of those guys this game than I have in a very long time, but I think at this point Draft was probably just trying to push right through, overpower this whole side, and I can't fault him for that. It was definitely within his capacity to do it. And over in Gregory, if we take a look at the neutral vision, there are some light infantry reinforcements here, mostly the scout infantry, trying to protect the Hawk Hioses, as he has noticed that I'm moving up the Yekiri. A little bit too little too late, but that's what you got right now. F-104G taken out, no. 2 misses there, one from the Iroquois, one from the Neva, but we do finally get him. 3rd shot off the Neva SC, and he is going to have to go back and rearm. So at this point I was thinking to myself, you know what, if he's going to quad stack some infantry, if he's going to quad stack some autocannons, yeah, let's do it too. And the KTs will be a decent answer to the AH-64s, so looks like 6 damage already. Also have a W3W Sokol up here, and even though the KTs are stunned, the Sokol can keep firing in. All of the Iglos have been fired, and that escort's still half alive. Peace Rhine also does come in and take a Wilk. But, yeah, we do actually... Oh, no, I thought I hit him. No, it looks like he got out. I thought I got that guy. That's depressing. But KCT are going to be more than a match for Yekiri here, so just a single response there. 30-point recon infantry is going to stop that entire push. So, not that there's much there to begin with, but I did what I could. So, single KT still staying alive, and the Sokol actually out of Igwas is going to be just popping back over here to my fob and trying to rearm. TLAC 91 was offline for longer than he should have been. We had really great fire support from him in the early game, and I should have continued it longer than I did, but we are now aiming again, and it's going to be, I think, over here, and let's take a look. I think I was probably shooting at the KCT. Did we get him? No. So I was shooting at the last known position, which is a bit far back. Actually, the second group of Yekiri is doing pretty well there, so they would have been able to get those KCT eventually. Meanwhile, Yekiri defending in the woods against... this is what I was afraid of at the start. So Grenadiers going through here would be absolutely abysmal to have to defend against. Yekiri moving forward to make sure that the Wilk isn't in the front line against infantry. And, I mean, yeah, cheap Grenadiers, 10 points each, and they're taking a nice fan out, which even if the Grenadiers die, tells them where I am, right? So that's not what you want to have happen, as your opponent knowing your every single move. At least I can say the Yekiri did perform well, win against appropriate targets, which was not always, but generally. So let's speed up a little bit here as things grind into what's surprisingly still the mid-game. I am losing at a +1 and has been a little bit pessimistic of a game for a while, but At this point I was sitting there going, you know, if I can slow him down, if I can just make it hurt to run me over, I'll feel some sort of modicum of happiness for that. So, interestingly, another Leopard for Kenning, 2 Leopard, 2 A1s, and this was something where I thought they might actually be close enough, I might be able to get visions. The Syria is circling ahead, and BMP1's just rushing the field, so, I mean, yeah, they're going to die head-on against the Leopards pretty quickly, but if I can get some shots in, I mean, that was 2 damage, well, that's another damage, and the Panzer Yekuri will be able to use those Apolos missiles very, very effectively. In the meantime, swing and a miss off the Syria against the Leopard for Kenning, and I really wanted that kill so badly. And you can see why, right? So the Panzer Yekuri, one group of them is nearly dead just because of the Leopard for Kenning supporting fire, and the other ones are going to be a little bit too slow to get the Leopards, so they do get out, and unfortunately take all of my BMPs with them. Not exactly what I had in mind when I started that. So, given that there was some success in Gregory, I'm bringing my Yekuri over into that town, Panzer Yekuri and more Yekuri moving up as well, and I have reinforcements coming in. I thought maybe if I can hold in that corner, I might be able to stop the bleed, and I don't know, some crazy part of my brain was thinking, hey, I fended him off. So maybe I had the points to burn. Plot twist, I did not, and you can see that right now with more AMX Prees, just cheap Grenadiers and AMX Prees causing so many problems this whole game, and even if a ton of them die, it's not even the end of the world, right? Because there's more. We do get a single vehicle that's moving through here, trying to thread through the needle, and my Yekuri unfortunately come face to face with way too many Stutruppen for them to handle reasonably well at all. So, double stack of Iroquois Yekuri. I should have had these guys more spread out and on the field sooner, but yeah, they're finally up here. I had to use groups in Super Pumas because I'd run out of every Iroquois Yekuri I had on the ground. It's just dead. But Panzer Yekuri are holding strong, of course, fighting against Nantre. That's not exactly to be too much of a surprise there. We do get another kill on a plane as my MiG-29-913S does show his worth. This is a problem, though. So my Panzer Yekuri are killing individual men in groups of Nantres for 5 points, while he's grinding down 25 points of infantry off of sheer fire support off the MX Prees, off the Stutruppen in the back of the Huzal Ren, and we do now have support from the Telek 91. So I thought, you know, if you're going to get that valuable kill, I'm going to at least try and make it hurt when you push into that position. And all of the Panzer Yekuri are dead at quite a value, quite a bargain price, might I add. So, Super Puma's going over. This is just to distract, just to slow things down, get a little bit of vision as well as more Hawk Bombers come in. No hesitation there from my opponent. I think I was a little bit too far forward. We do get a stun, we do get a couple units killed. No, there's an AMX Pre there, but that's about it. And now you can see that second push into center. All I have is a Wilk, all I have are a couple Super Pumas, and I'm really wishing I hadn't spent that 100 and some points. But we have stopped the bleed. 9 minutes left in the match, possibly, but about 7 or 8 left in the actual match, just because, well, you'll see. And the XA-185 KTs carrying more reinforcements are going to try to make a line at this back section of woods, using the range there that they can off the autocannons. Yekuri also just trying to defend on this side. At this point I'm so far behind in terms of points that it was very hard to have any semblance of good force concentration, but the Sokol did some pretty great work taking out those Grenadiers, giving back a little bit what was done to me at the start. And I also have Yekuri moving up here, probably unexpected. I think Draft didn't think there was going to be anything threading through there. We do get a mortar. We're on our way to getting a resupply vehicle, a couple of them actually, but not quite in range, and they're actually captured. And then an AH-64 escort, of course, does what they do best. So I was a bit of an unhappy man in that situation, but my Wilk is still here. I still have a couple of KTs. Some Yekuri do die moving across that open ground, but another bomber coming in, and that was actually really satisfying. So if you can't see what happened there, let's switch to neutral. Where is he? Oh, come on. Bombed a helicopter with that. So we took out the Tiger with a Hawk bomber, which was, if nothing else, a little bit cathartic. So, Leopard for Kenning, Flak Panzer Gepards, and more of those Leopard 2A1s that have been just a complete nuisance the entire game, taking out more of my stuff, and the Wilk is finally dead, but Syria's coming in, and swing and a miss. So again, just second volley there off the Syrias, and no joy. This is one of those things, so just we'll ignore the fight here for just a minute, as it's kind of predictable at this point, but I found that it's difficult. It's easy to lose a match. It's easy to find people who can just pancake you off the opener, and it's really hard sometimes to find ones who will pancake you off the opener and then tell you why it happened. So for that, I am very grateful for draft, because if there's any way to get better, it's losing, but it's losing in understanding why. So on the right-hand side, I am chasing AMX Pre. My Copa did run away from that in reasonable time, and we still do have a cap on Gregory, so it's still 0-0, and I'm bringing in Command Infantry. I knew the fight was lost, so I was just like, you know what, I'm going to get some points here if I can. I want a +1 off of Feder. Why not, right? Just hell with it, why not? But there is a counter cap in Gregory, and we do finally get a kill off the Syria, so one of those tanks dead. It looks like probably the 100-pointer, I think, was the one that did die. Leopard Verkenning still alive and causing problems, but Iroquois Yekri leading the way, Panzer Yekri headed forward as well, and 2 T-72 M2 Wilkes, and I don't know, I thought it was always a horrible idea to double stack tanks, but this late in the game and this far on my side of the field, what's the worst that's going to happen? If something's going to come in and bomb them or something like that, it's just, yeah, hell, that's going to happen anyway. Syria 30 moving in, trying to get the Verkenning. We don't quite get them, and a triple stack of Heos does have an answer for us, so let's see, down to 1 strength, and second volley does get taken out. So these Hawk Heoses had a kill list a mile long. It was beautiful. For him, not for me, but still. Nonetheless, Iroquois Yekri, Panzer Yekri, and the Wilkes behind them are able to resecure this woods just for a little bit. Again, BMP-1's actually getting a kill on that Verkenning, so, I mean, hey, never underestimate these guys. As I said earlier, they will surprise you. We did also have vision for a brief second on the 2A4. I didn't want to give that away because I was thinking if I could get another Syria in and hit that guy, that would be a really, really nice kill, 145 points off of that kill. If I can get it, no guarantees. But here comes the Syria 30 and a seed plane as well. A little bit in vain for the seed plane there, but Syria missiles are on the way. There's a 145-point kill. Syria, of course, is not going to get out. Those Heoses are just brutal. Second volley again, taking him down. But we are getting a couple of rocket pods onto the other Leopard Verkenning, just more of a stun there than anything else. And, you know, I had infantry up here, so we're going to try and move them over. Panzer Yekri and Yekri trying to get over into where I figured his command infantry probably were, and we do see the Staff Einheit, who are securing that town. 100 points. I mean, their command infantry is what you expect, and he is moving them, shuffling the Stoop Troop and out ahead, so nice response there from draft, sectioning off the combat-capable troops from the command infantry. But honestly, I don't know, I could have felt worse about this. I know it was a little bit of hands tied behind back, but it was a fun game nonetheless, so I'm not sure I've made that remark enough, but, you know, my advice is, if you're middling at this game like this, like I am, a lowly sergeant, find someone who will beat you and then tell you why it happened. And maybe who will play on the same side every once in a while, just so you can learn while getting a win or two under your belts as well. So this was another mistake on my part. I did, of course, artillery myself to end the match. So my Iroquois Yekri could have probably gotten in there, could have probably killed that command infantry, but instead they are going to die to my own Telek fire, so down to 1 and done. And that's going to be the end of the game, as I just, yeah, I surrendered. But I think it was about time anyway. So, kills, losses, 3,300 kills, 3,600 losses. Again, closer than you might have expected, right, off of the way that that match felt. And this is something I've seen before. I've been up on kills and down on conquest. I've been up on conquest and down on kills. You kind of have to play the mode that you're in. And if you're trading 50-50 but you're on your opponent's side of the field, that's a win in Conquest. And it definitely was today for my opponent. So 207 points to 37. In terms of units, oh, well, we don't actually have the kill list because I was in neutral. My apologies on that one. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.